This play is a play of ideas, really. It's a theater of ideas. On many levels, it's got problems as a drama, but as a theatrical expression of ideas, it's brilliant. And there's some wonderful monologues and some wonderful characterizations in it, some great turns for actors. But our job really is to take the audience on a journey and not unlike what religion is supposed to be about, to make them ask questions about themselves and their place in this all and their place in forgiveness. How do you forgive yourself?
I think the good thing about Judas is that of all the apostles, he is the one apostle and the one experience that I can relate to, because what he does and what he goes through is a very human, very accessible thing. You know, there's not a lot about, you know, Judas doing miracles and all this, and even though apparently he did, but, you know, he betrays someone he loves very much for his own personal gain, for a variety of reasons, and he regrets it tremendously afterwards. And that is timeless.
She said it grieves me so to see you in such pain. I wish there was something that I could do to make you smile again. I said I appreciate that. But could you please explain about the 50 ways?
The trick is to find the things in me that use my humanity to play this person who is like bigger than humanity, but at the same time he's also portrayed as a simple, it's his simplicity. So I'm not sure, but hopefully it'll be a simple experience as opposed to, you know, because right now it's very complex in my mind.
How does Tiny Bubbles go, you guys?
Tiny Bubbles.
Tiny Bubbles. What's the next part?
I don't know, I think a lot of people would probably find it like offensive to try to like embody Jesus and try to portray him as he is portrayed in this play. I mean, you know, I was raised without religion. Maybe that gives me a bit more freedom in terms of not being, you know, too terrified of like getting it wrong or screwing it up. Whereas maybe people who have, you know, been Catholic or, you know, some type of Christian their whole life and going to church and reading about the miracles Jesus performed and how he, you know, died for the sins of all humanity. Maybe they'd have more of a stigma and they wouldn't be able to find something to act out of that. Whereas I'm kind of coming in it fairly ignorant, which in a way might be my strength.
Okay, so it's something to eat.
I wouldn't really classify myself as religious. A lot of people are saying that they're spiritual. I don't even know if I think everyone is spiritual to a certain extent.
Kind of studied on my own a little bit, different religions. I'm spiritual.
But anyways, it's in D. Tiny bubble. How do you eat? It's to eat. It's D to eat. Tiny bubble.
Ladies and gentlemen, your break is now over. Please, if those of you who are not in costume, please get into costume. Check your personals, check your props, please. We'll start the run in 3 minutes. Thank you. Ish.
You said I don't fucking care! You think your suffering is a one-way street? It's not, it's the exact opposite of that. You got a lot of fucking nerve. You got no nerve at all. Where's your heart in all this, Judas? You think you were with me for any other reason than that? It was your heart! You were raw heart! You were my heart! Don't you know that?
It excites me. It's wonderful. It talks about all the subjects of the humanity, like everything is in it, and 2,000 years of history, and wonderful roles for 15 actors. It's like a dream and a nightmare play for a producer, but you just have to look at the positive side when you're starting and then deal with the nightmare later.
Well, when I first read it, it was like a circus, an explosion of intense, vibrant characters.
There are a lot of shows that you do that are just like, you know, I'm playing the frog in the kids show or whatever, or I'm just doing a regular show. But this show is, I think because it's theological, and a lot of us have been thinking a lot about God and spirituality and death and all that kind of stuff. I think the audience gets to think about that too, and I don't think it's often that you think about those things.
What is great about this play is that I get to ask the questions that I also possess. And I think that's going to be very interesting to ask those questions and to hear all the wonderful responses in this room.
It's a fantastic play, and it's really complicated. It's very funny. And I don't think of it as a religious play. To me, it's a courtroom drama.
I really like the fact that there's a parallel between the fact that Jesus went through a trial similar to this one, and that we've all, to kind of flip it on its other side and see that this is Judas in Jesus's position.
The defense attorney is sort of arguing that there might be no God in some way, but we're all in purgatory, so we sort of have the rules of heaven and hell and all those sort of things. So we're sort of playing with those things as absolutes.
Raises very interesting questions about the nature of sin, the nature of betrayal, the nature of forgiveness. But the world of the play is so ridiculous.
Come on, baby. Yeah. Show it to us, baby. Bang, bang.
I thought it was really exciting. I thought it was a play that would get notice. I think it's 45 minutes too long.
I don't have a big problem with the play in terms of its clarity. I think some of its clarity is linear and some of it is not, but I think that it's there regardless.
I don't think the playwright is as accomplished in its craft yet. This does not feel to me like the work of a mature playwright.
Pilot gonna kick your ass.
Pilot's gonna see that ass and he's gonna kick it 2 times.
When Pilot see this motherfucker's ass, he's gonna be like, Centurion, it's time to whoop ass! He gonna rape your wife.
He's gonna take your cattle.
He's gonna whoop your cattle's ass too. And your sheep and your lambs.
Pilot's gonna cancel your grandmother's WIC check, B.
It feels like a very, very strong younger playwright's work, because if it was a mature playwright, he'd understand the need for brevity and non-circular arguments in the scenes and how to get to the point clearer. There's a lot of things that could be done, but it's young playwright. I mean young in craft, not necessarily in age.
What's all this damn ruckus about?
Oh, hey, Pontius Pilate! Hey, hey, hey!
Is there a problem here?
Please, listen, Judas. We don't give a good goddamn about this Jesus. He's just a motherfucker who talks a lot of shit. Everybody talks shit. Even I, on occasion, have been known to talk shit in the once in a while. Now, see, we ain't looking to lay down no heavy charge on the Nazareth boy. We're just gonna beat down his ass a little, and then them saying hedgemocollots will be happy, and we can all live in peace. Now, don't you want to live in peace, Judas? I mean, ain't that what it's all about? Yeah. All right, then. I mean, after all, brother, it ain't like we're looking to crucify the motherfucker. Huh?
Guirgis' script seems to have, it's a mix of a lot of different elements that don't seem to always sit comfortably together.
I think the playwright has leapt off from the history, and clearly, I mean, many of the characters have a very modern sensibility, so they're not historically accurate.
A lot of the characterizations and a lot of the script has come out of improvisation of actors in New York. So some of it might be found.
Parts of the text have made us go, what the hell do we do with this? Sometimes that can mean you create an interesting solution to it that then, you know, is worthwhile. It's worthwhile to have gone through the problem, you know?
The problematic part is where you have so many interesting ideas floating around, and none of those is used to its potential. So hopefully David will focus on a couple of those and try to work with them.
If something doesn't work, it doesn't matter, right? It's all a kind of built-in chaotic, like chance is built into this, right?
I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt anyway because I'm in the damn thing, and I'm going to commit to it.
got an extraordinary cast in this room. I'm very blessed as a director. Not just that they're good actors, very good actors, but very bright, filled with ideas. And one of the things I'm trying to do is to encourage people to share their ideas so that what we put on the stage comes out of all of us. I know theater's not a democracy, but we try and bring it as close as possible.
As actors, part of our job is to do as we're told.
I don't agree with everything that's going around in the room at every second, nor does anybody, but you know, you could spend all day debating. It's like talking about infinity. Talking about God is like talking about infinity. It makes you want to like throw things around and like pull your hair out sometimes.
But it's important that you have a meeting of the minds, even if you disagree. The director, David Ferry, he's at the helm of things. So one of his jobs is to let us know what his vision is, and then open it up to discussion about the various themes and things like that.
David creates these fantastically interesting and vivid theatrical images, and by the end of the show you feel as if you've gone through someone's photo album, and you realize that by seeing all these characters and all these scenes that revolve around Judas, that you've watched this photo album that has pictures of Judas, you know.
It also drives me nuts that my mind travels really quickly. So I see the idea and I want it to happen immediately. And then of course when I try to communicate that, you have to slow right down, and because nobody's inside your head. And I get frustrated sometimes, and I must be a pig to be around as a director. Like sometimes when I'm going, well, you know, what about this over here, and you do that, and you do that, and expect everybody to get it, right?
My attitude is, what can I learn from people? And I don't open up my mouth to tell people what I think they should do. You know, it's not my job.
Different people have different challenges, and it's very difficult to know what someone else's challenge is because you're not playing their part. You're not living their life, and you're not at their stage of development as an actor, right? So my rule is, you know, always be kind unless it is effective to be cruel.
For me, it's just a really great experience because I'm still fairly fresh to this whole thing. So to see how other actors work and take down notes and be like, oh, that looks good, and I'm going to use that later on, means a lot to me.
One way to work well in the relationship of artist and subject matter in theater is that there is always a parallel between the real life situation and the play.
There's a lot of shit that's going to have to be trudged through before we get to the end of this journey. There's a lot of heavy, it's a very funny play. And it's also very heavy. There's a lot of, you know, it's draining, you know. You can't always get it up, you know. Like you really gotta, you know, I mean, it's fascinating, you know. Like it's different every time, and it's scary every time, and it doesn't matter how many times you do it or what your level of experience, I think.
It is going, which is always good. No fist fights yet, no blood, that's all good.
It's not about looking pretty, it's about that doesn't do justice to the character.
Well, if you need a costume to act, then you've got problems.
Well, I got problems as we know, so that's why give me less problems, you know.
Well, this is we're gonna have to agree to disagree on this.
But I just don't believe that the character should come from the 50s, because knowing the playwright personally and being an expert in 20th century American drama, there's a certain code in every play, and I don't believe that you can impose characters coming from wherever just because it looks good.
She wants to be in pretty clothes, and I don't want her to be in pretty clothes.
It's not about pretty clothes.
It's
why 1950s, when every other saint is like now, and the way it's written.
Sure, they're not all written now. It's difficult when somebody starts getting emotional with you about like this, and you feel like, especially when somebody's the producer, you say, "Oh shit, what do I do here?"
It's not about me wanting to look pretty. I cannot stress that enough. It's not about that.
I don't like it.
It's always extremely difficult being a producer and an actor, because, you know, if I have a demand, everybody say, well, here's a producer being a spoiled actor wanting everything her way, which is not the case.
It's a big, empty, sort of industrial-looking space. It was chosen initially out of a discussion with the producer about the play and what kind of theater we felt the play should sit in.
But when I heard that we were doing it in a space in the distillery, that really clicked in. That was like, that said to me, yeah, that's the right kind of place for this particular piece, or the right kind of essence.
It's very industrial looking, isn't it? It's set in purgatory. I mean, that place.
Yeah, but that's not why it was chosen.
Like,
it was chosen because they couldn't book another space.
No, it's not. They had options.
What other options? What other options?
Theaters.
What theaters?
They chose this space because of its industrial nature, because of those big vats on the side of the wall.
My worry is that the space was chosen because it was cool, and I'm not sure that that's enough, like good enough of a reason to go with that space.
This is an amazing space. I mean, look at it. It's a real, not just a warehouse. This is where they fermented the whiskey. You couldn't make a set like this.
Because we're moving into a found space that gets used for other things, we really have about 48 hours in there before we have to put it in front of a house.
I'm anxious about this whole thing because I don't think we have enough time to do a type of show that we want to do.
I love the, absolutely, you know, the fluttering of the heart when one realizes one doesn't have enough time. Particularly like the adrenaline rush.
I think with Canadian theatre, we do a lot in a short amount of time, because that's the time that we're allowed.
Because we are rehearsing plays, and we've learned how to rehearse plays in 2.5 weeks in this country. I mean, it's ludicrous. There is a surface shorthand that has been learnt by actors that is highly, 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 highly competent, right? And can bullshit an awful lot of people in terms of the skill of the artist.
Oh, we were just about to, we ran the second act, we keep running out of time. We've been rehearsing and we've been scheduled to get through the entire second act, for instance, and then we'll get right to where I'm about to start, and then we have to stop for a break.
By necessity, with Canadian theatre, you sort of grow to the size of your container. So I think everyone has it in the back of their mind, sort of the amount of time that we're dealing with, and you proceed accordingly. You know, it's just the nature of the financial nature of the beast in Canada.
Well, I think it's shitty. I don't think it's a good system. I think it's not enough time, and I think there's a difficulty and a lie in accepting the work and doing it in that time. The question then becomes, do you do any of it, or do you do none of it?
I think the edge of desperation that's going to lead to, you know, is going to really enhance the performances. So I see that as a good thing.
First day in the space. We've been here for about 2.5 hours.
Slow going. To be expected though, since it's not a theater.
Unfortunately, we didn't have power to the lights, and I think we still don't.
It's a good question. Nobody seems to know, which is the more frustrating thing. If you know the answer to a problem, you can fix it. And if you don't, you just have to make up reasons why you think it might be not working, as opposed to knowing. So that's hard because I can't give the director a straight answer.
Well, the HMIs are the problem. It's the company that provided them like screwed up every which way. So what do you do?
He's being as patient as David is ever patient.
He's remarkably patient, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. He hasn't killed anyone.
Yeah. You just don't have the phone conversations that I have.
Yes. Yes.
It's flickering again. That's the new ballast. That doesn't help.
So, in all seriousness, this is our first audience, and
What? There's an audience? Yeah, tonight they're coming. Yeah.
And I think people are going to. I think they're going to enjoy the show. Where I said, I watched you trip over your own dusty feet. I fucked that up.
What'd you say?
I said, I watched you heal.
Oh yeah.
I watched you trip over your own destiny. Normally I wouldn't go back, but
I'm fascinated by the actors and how capable they are of dealing with the situation, and they really know what they're doing. So I know, and I'm at this point I'm certain that we'll make it because of them.
Can't you see I'm busy?
we are blessed. Not just in, but I think we're blessed because I don't know. I've only done maybe one other show so far in my life that I felt this way about, and maybe I'll never do another one.
I'm not nervous about the show because normally I'm cast as like comic roles, and I get more nervous for that. This I feel like I just have to be in the scene, commit to the scene, not worry about the audience's reaction. So in a way, that takes the pressure off.
No, not at all.
His fucking things coming down and grabbing them and taking them away, and I didn't know what I was watching. What's that, Bronsteiny?
What is it?
Is that supposed to be a tattoo?
Yeah.
What about Judas's tattoos?
You found it? Judas isn't getting it. Well,
I'm gonna just see if I can dig up a copy of my contract.
right.
I'm pretty sure it's in my contract that Jesus can't be cooler than me. I sing the Ave Maria in the theater space before every show that I perform. On a technical level, it's a really good range warmer-upper to warm up the vocal range. And it's the Ave Maria. It's like, I mean, I'm not particularly religious, but I think that makes me feel like I'm inviting God in.
I believe in infinity.
I think ultimately my faith is questionable.
I believe that we are infinite spiritual beings living in temporary flesh.
Maybe I have ADD, but I can't pay attention long enough to stick with one. Like I thought Hinduism was really cool and bought the books and stuff and then didn't read them all, you know? So that maybe means that I'm well cast.
I was baptized Catholic, and that's sort of where it ended outside of a couple of midnight masses.
I have faith, and I believe in energy and as love, which is often called God.
I'm spiritual.
I'm confused and in recovery.
If we are to believe, it's by virtue of absurdity, not by virtue of reason.
I am a believer.
I go to church on Sunday.
There is a greater being, but we've all been explaining it as several different things. Zeus in one place, Ra in another.
If you are a man, God is a man. If you are a woman, God is a woman. If you are a child, God is a child.
I don't belong to any specific religion, so I'm accepting offers right now.
Not particularly, but the older I get, the more religious I get.
I wonder though, as I get older, if I may return to the church.
As I get older, of course, I come to envy in some way people of great faith.
Because I'm going to die soon, and I got worries about that.
I'm a religious fanatic, yes.
I think that everything we do often in art refers to the spiritual. You know, it isn't the thing itself, right? It is there as a door that you can take or leave, right? You have to do the work. You have to meet halfway, and I think that's what this play does. It's actually, to me, and if in its strongest moments, is suggesting exactly that. That's saying, you know, the door can get opened, but you have to walk through it.
I want to thank whoever hired Tom McCamus, who was originally supposed to play this role.
I've been nominated 5 times, and I said to Glenn, I'm going to get it for fucking lighting. Fucking lighting. I'd like to thank
It was an incredible experience. I've often said to friends that I sort of felt like a rock star doing that show. We'd arrive at the theater and there'd be lines of people would be standing at the back. It felt like a real event. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. And the door goes to David Ferry.
I think a director's job is to facilitate, just get the great people together, and hopefully they take ownership of the work and make you look pretty damn good. And that's exactly what happened with this show. It was a wonderful show, a wonderful experience, and I'm getting a bit... Thank you.
Last stage.
Thank you to the wonderful theatre community in Toronto. You made me so happy tonight. I shared this with the director, David Ferry. David, I love you. My wonderful cast, 15 people that I can just live with. I like to marry each one of them. My designers, Glenn, thank you, April, Nick, wonderful production team. This was my dream come true, so thank you.
Because we've all seen behind the scenes on the film set, but you rarely see the rehearsal process. But though I'll be honest with you, as an actor and stuff like that, I fucking hate listening to actors talk half the time. I think they're full of shit, and even myself. And if I was sitting at home right now watching me and I was another actor, I go fuck off, and I'd change the channel. It's because I'd be jealous. I'd be jealous. I'd be like, who the fuck is this guy? What does he know? I'm an actor. My process, my religion. You know, honest to God, that's what I would think.